Welcome to the All Around Joe podcast, where you'll find tips and insights from my personal experience as an athlete, coach, and all-around self-improvement junkie. You know, I was thinking maybe I should put ultra runner and Ironman in there. I don't know, not to brag, just because I've done several of them, so maybe people would like to know that. Let me know what you think. Anyway, guys, this podcast is going to be all about CrossFit reflection. We're just wrapping up the CrossFit Open in 2017 here. I just finished my retest of 17.5 yesterday. Got about a 30-second improvement, so high five to me. That made me happy, but I still felt like I should have been able to do a little bit better. So in this podcast, I'm going to be talking about what I learned this year, but then also what I'm going to change and how I'm going to kind of like reassess everything that I was doing and then go into the new programs and how I'm going to set up new programs and how I'm going to tackle the strength training versus the Olympic lifting versus the Metcons and all that fun stuff. So if you're interested in knowing exactly what I'm going to be doing and maybe even want to follow along, I would highly recommend continuing to listen. But before I get right into that, I want to talk about my partnerships that I have set up. The first one is Inside Tracker, guys. If you haven't done Inside Tracker yet, or if you're not doing Inside Tracker every 6 months, which I recommend, then you need to hop on this bandwagon. Basically what it is it's looking inside of your body to determine what kind of foods you should be eating, what kind of supplements you should be taking, how much you should be training, that type of stuff. It is the most impactful thing that I've done in the last few years. It literally showed me that I was eating the wrong foods, even though I thought I was eating the right foods, and changed my diet. In about 1 month after changing my diet based off of my blood work from Inside Tracker, I lost over 10 pounds and my body fat dropped significantly to the point where I went from having maybe a couple of upper abs to full complete six-pack, shredded, all that type of stuff. And I actually kept my calories the same. I'm eating more carbohydrates and less protein, less fat than I was before. So kind of the other direction that most people are talking about right now, but it's what my body needs. So it's really interesting. I think that everyone should be checking it out. You can get a discount by using the code AllAroundJoe. If you have any questions about my story, let me know. Also, the other cool partnership that I have going on right now that everyone's getting on and super excited about is the Whoop Strap. What is the Whoop Strap? So it's an activity tracker, and it's not only activity tracker, it's the top activity tracker out there right now. What it does is it basically tells you in a very accurate way how recovered your body is. So you can wake up in the morning and it will tell you 0 to 100 how recovered you are. If you're green, you can train really hard. Yellow, train moderately. And red, you should probably take that day off. It's really cool because it tracks your sleep, it tracks your HRV, it tracks your resting heart rate or your heart rate at all times. So it really gets to know your body. And speaking of that, it does get to know your body. It gets to know your body better and better the more you use it through machine learning that's on the back end of their program. So if you want to give the Whoop Strap a try, you can get a discount with the code AllAroundJoe. Like I said, pretty much everyone on my CrossFit team right now, or not everyone, but most people are using it and loving it, and even just getting the sleep data is worth it in my opinion. I'm seeing people sleeping hours more per night just because they realize that they needed it and they're performing better. It's just been fantastic. Alright guys, enough about my partnerships here, but the only reason I talk about those partnerships is because I love them, I use them every single day, and I want to share them with you. But my CrossFit reflection. Okay, here's what we got going on with CrossFit reflection. I actually ended up finishing 11th in the Northwest in the 35 to 39 age division, which I am 36 years old right now, and actually 37 for this year's competition as CrossFit determines it. I am 137th in the Northwest overall, and I believe I was like 148th last year, so a little bit of improvement, but the best I've ever done is close to like 100. So every year my goal is to get in the top 100. So I didn't quite hit that goal, but the interesting thing is I felt like I had found my stride by using Inside Tracker, and something I didn't mention in the intro was that it also gave me a much more consistent energy for my workouts, for my day, all that interesting stuff. So I felt like I had more energy, and I started using that in the fall. So there was a little bit of it definitely, like, I see an improvement right away, but I feel like I'm continuously tweaking and improving things. And then I added in doing the aerobic capacity training a couple months ago, which also increased my endurance, made my workouts feel better. But I wish I would have done that 6 months ago. And the breathing and cold training, which I've done with the Wim Hof method, is also another thing that I did starting in, I think, December, which helped immensely and got me feeling better. But I just wish that I had more time. So I wish I had about 6 more months to see where I would test then, but we have next year. We'll hop right into that. We'll get going and hopefully continue to improve. But the spots that I felt like I did really well were that because I dropped that body weight, all my body weight movements felt like they were more efficient. I didn't feel as banged up. I had more confidence because of my cardiovascular endurance. And I was just talking with someone about that the other day. When you do a CrossFit workout, it does hurt. And a lot of people expect it to hurt like terrible. If it doesn't hurt terribly, then it shouldn't, you didn't really try hard enough. But I don't really agree with that. I think that if you're in the best shape that you possibly can be from a cardiovascular standpoint, you're going to hit a muscular wall before you hit, or your muscles are essentially going to stop working before you hit that point of like complete burnout. And I've had it both ways, where I'm very cardiovascularly fit, and the reason I can't continue is because my body just gets so full of lactic acid and it just can't continue pumping that through the system, versus I'm not cardiovascularly fit, and because of that, it hurts really bad through breathing. And I don't know about you, but for me, when I'm not cardiovascularly fit, that hurts way, way, way more than hitting like a lactate threshold. And I'm guessing that everybody's a little bit different, and that's why different training programs work better for different people. But for me, I like that feeling of, I obviously want to be as fit as possible in both scenarios, but when I don't hit the wall cardiovascular and I feel like I can breathe through workouts, but there's something else that's stopping me, my strength or that lactate threshold, then it's a much better feeling for me. I feel more able to conquer or continue to move through the workout. And then if I'm mentally feeling better and more confident about it, then the whole experience is better. And we're doing this for fun too, right? So you gotta take that into account. If it's not fun and it just hurts, then it's hard to continue doing it. And I'm the type of person that continues to do it no matter what, but it's great to also have it be fun. So I'm happy with that. I'm happy with continuously seeing improvement. But something that I'm going to continue moving through, something that I'm going to continue upgrading, is I need to get stronger, especially in my snatch. My clean and jerk is pretty good, but my snatch has always had something missing. And something that I'm going to do immediately, starting to get that under control, is using the IKOS or IKKOS app and doing training with that. Visualization training is where it's at, guys. It's one of those things that people don't necessarily want to take the time to do, but they should, because it is so helpful in learning new patterns from people, right? Like if I'm really good at, let's say, handstand push-ups, like I did 40 handstand push-ups in a row on the CrossFit Open workout 17.4. So I'd say I'm pretty darn good at that. You could take my image on IKOS or my movement pattern, and you could visualize or copy it, and your body will start learning those same patterns that I use. Pretty cool, right? So I'll go and do that more and more for snatching and for other lifts and muscle ups, all those things that I want to get better at. Visualization is going to be great. I still want to continue to improve cardiovascular endurance. I think that there's a huge hole still there, at least in that middle range of like between lactate threshold into cardiovascular endurance, right? So like that, let's say 2 to 3 minute to 10-ish minute range is where I mostly need to figure out how to get my body to continue getting better cardiovascularly, flush more lactic acid. And I'm going to do that through a lot of the aerobic capacity program, the Hinshaw program at aerobiccapacity.com. Really enjoyed that. I'm going to keep that up. So There's going to be the ICOS training, which is pretty much not doing much movement. It's slow. It's not going to break you down at all. You can do it on your off days. You can do it rest days. You can do it before training, whatever. You just kind of have to do it. And then the aerobic capacity is 2 times a week, so I'm going to continue doing that and continue progressing. I actually PR'd my 400-meter run the other day. I think I got 102 or 103 for the 400 meter, which was like a 10-second PR since I tested it, so which tells you that I hadn't been running a lot lately because it's not fantastic. I would like to get under that 1 minute mark, which I think I will do soon. But then I'm gonna switch some things up. So we've been doing the Misfit Athletics training program, which I really love the guys over at Misfit Athletics. If you get a chance to check out one of their camps, it's one of the better camps I've ever been to. They really dig into stuff with you. They teach you how to improve yourself individually. It's not just like as a group. They really break it down. So if you're looking for hands-on training, check them out. See if when they come to town, go to their camps. Very affordable, excellent teaching there. So check them out. We've been doing the Misfit Athletic program for quite some time, and before that we did the Invictus program. Both of them are great. Both of them have certain things to offer and certain things that they're lacking. And that's why I've decided to kind of go rogue a little bit this year, or at least this next cycle, and see how that goes. And I'm going to break things up a little bit more. I'm going to do something interesting. I'm going to break up my strength training completely from the program, so that I'm going to do my own strength training program. If you guys don't know, I used to be a bodybuilder, and when I was bodybuilding, I was actually a lot stronger than I am as a CrossFitter, which I think should surprise or could surprise several people. So some of the numbers that I had when I was bodybuilding were actually, and let me preface this, like when you squatted, you didn't go quite as low, but I still tried to go to parallel on my squats. I was able to squat 455 by 6 reps, I think was my best, 5 or 6 reps, which right now my 1 rep max below parallel is 425, so significantly stronger then. And then I had a bench press of 315 by 6, which right now I've got 315 by 1 on, like, you know, when the sun is shining and the birds are chirping kind of a day, like not ever. So I had a lot of strength there. I had a deadlift of, I would regularly do deadlifts at 10 reps or 10 to 12 reps at 405, and I would go up to 8 or so reps at 455, and I never really went heavier than that, because with bodybuilding you usually do 6 or more reps, almost always. Usually it's actually 8 or more reps, but sometimes you'd go down to 6, and that's how you'd find those heavy lifts. So what I was doing when I was this strongest is something called dog crap training, and everyone laughs at me when I say that, but dog crap training is basically a progressive overload training principle. It's low volume, high frequency, compared to bodybuilding frequency, but not so much to CrossFit frequency. They use rest pause sets, so you do 3 sets and you aim for 11 to 15 reps total as you do rest pause. So rest pause is 30 seconds rest in between each set. Right, so you would do a max or just sub-maximal set, you put the barbell back or whatever weight back, and then you rest 30 seconds, you do it again, you rest 30 seconds, you do it again. And that ideally should be within 11 to 15 total. And then what you're gonna do is you use a progressive overload strategy, right? So you're trying to increase something every single week. And I'm gonna continue brushing up on how this works, but you continue increasing until you can't increase anymore, then you have to switch something up. And you go through things called blasting and cruising cycles. The blasting, where you continue to push those envelopes, and then the cruising are when you back off a little bit. So I'm gonna use this training principle to try and get stronger in the off season. I've used it before, I've gotten really strong with it. It is mentally hard, because once you get a few weeks in, you're pushing some seriously heavy weight, and you have to be mentally really ready for it. So that's dog crap training, and it's actually spelled kind of funny. It's DOGGCRAPP, but if you Google dog crap training, or if you check out the show notes here, which will be at allaroundjoe.com/78, I'll have a link to it for you. So that's allaroundjoe.com/78. For the Oli lifting, I've noticed that in the past 5 or 6 years, the best Oli lifting cycles that I've gone through had to do with just going heavy a lot. So what I'm going to do is 1 day a week, I'm going to make sure that I'm going heavy in my snatch and heavy in my clean and jerk. That might just be 20 minutes to build up to a heavy single or a heavy double or something like that, or it might be every minute on the minute, increasing 5 or 10 pounds each minute, and just see how it feels for that day. I feel like I've got a lot left in the tank on my snatches and my clean and jerks. I just need to train them more heavy. My body's feeling great, things are starting to improve, just need to train heavy. Then with the CrossFit training, I'm going to try this new strategy. I think that all these programs are great. I think Invictus competition training program is great. It helped us get a team to regionals a few years ago. They helped me get really, really strong. CJ Martin over there is a fantastic person. I love their culture, all of that stuff. It's fantastic. If you're looking to get a great base in CrossFit, or even like top athletes still use that program in order to get to regionals and on. For me, I noticed that I needed more cardiovascular training, and maybe it would work great for me now with the Hinshaw or the aerobic capacity program, but I still think that it lacked a little bit in the cardiovascular training for me. I need more aerobic base to be built up, but I think it's a great program. Okay, the Misfit Athletics training program, also really interesting. I wasn't a huge fan of their strength cycles, but I really liked their Metcons, and I really, really liked how for a lot of their programming they give you options at the end of each program where you can basically pick, let's say there's 3 options and you pick one to two of those things based off your weakness. So you go through, let's say, mandatory programming of A, B, and C on the program, and then there's 3 more options at the end that will be specialized for you to pick, if you need to do more strength, you need to do more Metcon, whatever. So it's a little bit more individualized based off of just options, okay? The downside I felt like as well with that program though is that it didn't always have very good progressions, meaning that not progressions in the workout, but from day to day. So you might have done a whole bunch of shoulders one day and then they have you do a whole bunch of shoulders the next day. That's great if you're training for like the CrossFit Games to have them do that to you, but it's not going to allow your shoulders to recover enough and make a lot of gains. So you just had to be careful with that. You had to know that, all right, my shoulders are trashed from yesterday, let's do something else. Let's do back, back specific or something, let's do something that's more legs heavy in order to prolong the shoulder health as well as continue to get gains, because it takes time off in order to actually get gains. So then those are the 2 programs that I've spent a lot of time doing. I have a lot of respect for them, a lot of respect for the people that are doing the programs and those gyms. The 3rd program that I wanted to mention was the comp training program, and this is done by Ben Bergeron. The only thing that I've really noticed on this is I haven't done it in any kind of consistent basis, is that it's a lot of volumes, very high volume training, but it can be fun. He has a lot of top athletes that do it. So what I'm going to try and do is open up these 3, or maybe even find another couple of training programs that I'll open up and pick and choose each day. So I know that I'm going to do my dog crap training a few times a week. I know I'm going to do my Oli lifting a few times a week. And then to complement that as CrossFit training, I'm going to open that up, those programs, and I'm just going to pick and choose based off of, number 1, what I think I need to work on, number 2, how my body is feeling that day, and number 3, what I think would be fun. So that's how I'm going to set things up. I know it's kind of unique, but I'm going to give it a shot and see how that works, at least for the first few months.